Angels are shouting. A spiritual inheritance is being released into your bloodline. But you must see the name first. Open before 3 minutes are up. A sound has broken through the heavens. Not a whisper, not a murmur, but a trumpet blast that shakes the vaults of eternity. The angels are shouting, and their voices roll like thunder across the generations. It is not an ordinary cry, but a war shout and a proclamation. A spiritual inheritance is moving through the corridors of heaven, threading itself into the fabric of bloodlines, and it is being released now. Not tomorrow, not in some far-off future, but in this hour of visitation. You stand at a threshold moment, a midnight watch where silence feels heavy, or perhaps at the trembling edge of dawn where light begins to pierce the night. This is the sacred hour when family altars stir, when the prayers of your forefathers that once seemed forgotten rise again like smoke before the throne. Heaven's court has turned its attention toward your lineage, and the cry of ArchangelMichael has broken the silence, commanding the release of what was long withheld. The stakes are weighty, for it is not only about you, it is about your family's hidden pain, the unspoken stories of loss, the promises that were deferred, and the destinies that were left dormant. The inheritance that heaven speaks of is more than gold, more than possessions. It is dignity restored, purpose rekindled, and the covenant of blessing flowing again through your name. But know this release is not for all. It is selective. Only those whose names are written in heaven's record are hearing this summons, and if your spirit stirs as these words fall upon you, then heaven is speaking directly to your bloodline. The key is simple yet profound. You must see the name. For the name is the seal, the signature of heaven's intent, the confirmation that what is written above is also written within you. Before 3 minutes pass in your spirit, before the noise of the world can drown it out, the letters may begin to form, burning against the canvas of your inner eye, surfacing on the edge of memory like fire etching itself onto stone. Do not scroll past. Do not dismiss it. Heaven is pressing into your soul, and the name is the doorway. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. Stop. Listen. The angels are shouting. Their voices are not faint whispers, but thunderous proclamations shaking the unseen realms. The heavens are not silent tonight. They are alive with trumpet blasts, the rolling sound of rushing waters, and the rustle of robes worn by generations of your ancestors who have gathered in witness. Michael, the great archangel, has stepped forward with his sword drawn, not to strike, but to announce. He declares with authority that a spiritual inheritance, locked for ages, is stirring for release. And he calls you now to attention, for your name is being sought among the scrolls. Within the next moments, you must be alert. Do not let distractions steal this visitation. Heaven does not measure time as earth does, but there is a window, a breath of sacred urgency. Pay attention to the first impression that rises, a syllable whispered across your spirit, a face flickering at the edge of memory, or perhaps even a stream, a river flowing through your inner vision. These are not random. They are fragments of the name, the sign heaven uses to confirm that you are chosen. This is not for everyone. Heaven's summons tonight is selective. The angels are not calling every household, but only those whose names have been carved upon the hidden stones of destiny. If you are among them, you will know it even now, for your heart is burning, your spirit is trembling, and something in you refuses to dismiss this as chance. Heaven does not shout where there is no inheritance. If you are hearing this, the vaults of your lineage have been opened. Think of the weight of what is at stake. For generations, your bloodline has carried wounds that words could never heal, betrayals that splintered trust, promises that dissolved into silence, blessings withheld at the very hour they should have been released. The shadows of ancestral pain linger like smoke over a cold fire. But tonight, heaven declares, enough. The name is the key, and when it is seen, what was dormant will awaken. But here lies the test. Many will rush in their eagerness, grasping at guesses, inventing what they have not truly seen. But you must hush, not rush. Still your spirit, silence the noise within, and wait for the unveiling. Heaven requires vision, not presumption. You cannot seize the name with impatience. It must arrive like a seal breaking, a scroll opening, a revelation in its time. So pause now. Breathe. Feel the atmosphere shift around you. Imagine the great courtroom of heaven where scrolls are being unrolled, each bearing names of those chosen for inheritance. Hear the voice that reads, the thunder that affirms, the angels that shout in agreement. Picture yourself standing at the altar of memory, your spirit eyes opening to see letters forming, radiant with fire, etched as though upon the lip of eternity. That name, that single name, will unlock what generations longed for but could not hold. A single name will show. That name is your unlocking. Type I am anointed in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing node 1414 is now surrounding you. There are patterns in your bloodline that you have felt but never fully named. Strange disruptions that repeat themselves like echoes through the years, whispers at family gatherings, betrayals that sting sharper than they should, blessings that seem to slip through your grasp at the very last moment. These are not coincidences. They are markers, signals of something hidden, something contested. Behind the veil, there are watchers, unseen forces that have monitored your lineage for generations. They are not omniscient. They do not know the full script. They sense the inheritance. They sense the weight of promise. But there's one thing they cannot steal. They do not know the name. This is why the unrest in your spirit has been rising. Those sleepless nights, those moments of unexplained sorrow, the gnawing sense that something is off but never visible. These are tremors of a greater truth. You are standing in the space between theft and restoration, between captivity and inheritance. Your lineage has been under observation, but the key is not in their hands. It is being revealed in yours. Perhaps you have seen it before, but dismissed it. The sudden reappearance of a surname, an old family Bible opening to a specific page, a dream where certain initials keep pressing themselves upon your memory. Or maybe it was a date, a repeated number sequence, a face that keeps showing up in dreams you can't shake off. Heaven does not waste these moments. They are breadcrumbs, signals left on your path, urging you to pay attention. The name has been trying to break through, to land in your awareness. Consider the concrete ways disruption has revealed itself. An inheritance promised, but never delivered. A health pattern that seems to reemerge with every generation. marriages that collapse just before they are sealed, opportunities that rise like dawn but vanish before noon. These are not isolated incidents. They are part of a network of disruption that has sought to keep your bloodline from touching what heaven decreed. But even in this, God has left hidden keys. Do not ignore the images rising in you even now. See the chains that rattle when you pray. See the sealed jars in your dreams that seem unbroken. See the locked door that your spirit keeps approaching. And now imagine, in the quiet of your inner vision, a small key. It appears not in a palace, but upon your own table, familiar and near. Heaven places it where you cannot miss it. That key is connected to a name. And when the letters form, when the syllable rises, when the face aligns with the impression, the unlocking begins. Before this message ends, a fragment of that name may land in your spirit. It may be a whisper. It may be a burning imprint across your inner eye. It may be a memory that suddenly feels alive again. Do not dismiss it. Do not call it random. It is heaven's summons, pressing through the layers of resistance to deliver what has been kept for you all along. Type "I am marked" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1717 is now surrounding your spirit. Beloved, as this word stirs your spirit, remember this. Every time you help lift the sound of God's word, you join in sowing into the eternal harvest of souls. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing seed into the soil of inheritance, watering the roots of countless lives who need to hear their names spoken from heaven. Scripture declares, He gives seed to the sower, and even now, that seed multiplies when released with faith. I invite you to say within your heart, this is my moment to help release the light. As you respond, you don't just give, you prophesy with your gift. Your offering becomes oil poured out, a river that carries this word into homes, into bloodlines, into generations. And I speak blessing over every giver. What you release for God will return pressed down, shaken together, running over into your own household. The links for giving are in the description. Step into this prophetic act now. You must understand this. The struggles you have faced, the storms that have broken against your family, the losses that have stung your heart, these are not merely accidents of life. They are not simply mistakes or misfortunes. They are battles in a war you did not choose but were born into. The conflict that has followed your bloodline is spiritual, not merely natural. Every delay, every denial, every fracture has been the echo of warfare waged in unseen realms. It is not about your weakness, but about your inheritance. You have been targeted because heaven has marked you. Attack is the evidence of destiny. The enemy does not waste energy on empty vessels. He comes against those who carry a weight of promise. When you see cycles of brokenness in your family, when you feel pressures that seem too heavy for one soul to carry, do not confuse it with personal failure. It is spiritual contention. God has permitted pressure to prepare you as a vessel. Just as wine must be pressed from grapes and oil must be crushed from olives, the inheritance must be refined through testing. What you endure now is shaping you into the one who can bear the glory without breaking. Ancestral agreements and ancient covenants often lie at the root of these conflicts. Somewhere in your family's history, vows were made, words were spoken, altars were raised. Some for blessing, others for bondage. These spiritual contracts ripple forward, shaping the present with the echoes of the past. Perhaps an ancestor sought protection through dark alliances, or perhaps a vow was made in fear that now binds generations. Or maybe there were holy prayers, unfulfilled petitions lingering before God's throne, waiting for the appointed heir to stand and claim them. You are that heir. You are the one heaven has chosen to step into the breach and redeem what was entangled. Imagine it now. A courtroom in the spirit where accusers point to the failures of your lineage, declaring why inheritance should not flow. But also see the defenders, intercessors, angelic advocates, and the blood of Christ itself testifying in your defense. The judge of heaven listens, weighing every claim, and he is not silent. Your silence and your obedience on earth are not weakness. They are strategy. By refusing to fight in your flesh, by holding your peace when provoked, you allow heaven's advocates to argue on your behalf. The courtroom is in session, and your inheritance is under deliberation. Do not despair when conflict rises. Do not collapse when pressure intensifies. This is not punishment, it is preparation. Heaven is teaching you to discern the real battlefield. It is not with flesh and blood, not with relatives or co-workers, not with the visible frustrations. The battlefield is spiritual, and your weapon is faith. Every time you stand in obedience, rather than fear, every time you choose prayer instead of panic, every time you remain silent when provocation stirs you to speak, you tip the scales in your favor. Hear this clearly. You are not fighting alone. The angels are moving. The Spirit intercedes. The blood speaks louder than every accusation. The conflict you see is evidence that heaven is active, that inheritance is near. Understanding the war clarifies the path. And once you see the true nature of the battle, fear loses its power, for you realize the end has already been written. You are not destined to be a casualty. You are chosen to be a claimant, the heir who receives the fullness of what heaven has preserved. Type "I am protected" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1818 is now covering you. Hear me now. The heavens are not silent, and neither are the adversaries. Even as inheritance begins to stir, schemes are forming, alignments are shifting, and hidden hands are moving to block what has been ordained. Do not be deceived into thinking the battle is over once the name begins to surface. No, beloved, the moment of unveiling is the moment of greatest resistance. When heaven announces blessing, the earth begins to tremble, and the enemy accelerates his attempts to steal, to confuse, and to intimidate. A wave of pressure is about to rise, not because you are abandoned, but because the transfer is close. The Spirit reveals this. In the days ahead, disturbances will appear. Some may come in the form of sudden legal matters, papers filed, questions raised, documents you thought were settled rising again to the surface. Others may come through people re-emerging, voices from the past who carry hidden agendas, pretending to reconcile, but secretly seeking to sabotage. Still others may be subtle, confrontations in the family, disputes over land, resources, or even memory itself. These are not coincidences. They are signals. They announce that the inheritance of your bloodline is being contested because it is about to be released. You may also notice the rise of dreams, vivid, sharper than before. Dreams where voices call your name, where old wounds reopen, where faces long forgotten confront you again. This is not torment for torment's sake. It is heaven sharpening your awareness, preparing you to discern. Pay close attention, for these dreams are revealing the cracks in the old structures. They are unveiling the schemes that have hidden in silence for too long. Yet I must warn you, not every disturbance is final. Some are the unraveling, the pulling apart of knots, the breaking of chains. What feels like chaos may actually be the dismantling of the structures that once held your family bound. The rising tension is not a sign of defeat. It is the trembling before the breakthrough. Do not mistake shaking for ending. The tree shakes hardest before the fruit falls. Still, you must walk with discernment. The temptation will be strong to speak too quickly, to announce too broadly, to share your name before it's time. Resist this. Do not give your name carelessly. Do not place your pearl before those who cannot honor it. The name is a holy key, and once released, it will open doors. But if given prematurely, it may draw unnecessary resistance. Wait for heaven's imprint, the moment when God Himself confirms that the time has come. Prepare yourself now. Not in frenzy, not in fear, but in stillness. Align your heart in obedience. Strengthen your altar with prayer. Guard your atmosphere with worship. Watch quietly, for heaven will give you signs in subtle, unmistakable ways. The very atmosphere will tell you when the shift has arrived. You will feel it like a change in the wind, like the sudden drop before the rain. This is the prophetic admonition. Prepare. Do not panic. Do not scatter. Do not let fear drive you. Prepare with clarity. Prepare with vigilance. Prepare with stillness. The action is coming. The schemes are moving. But heaven's decree has already gone forth. The name is the key, and heaven will guard it until the time of release. Type "I am ready" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1919 is now strengthening you. Be still. Heaven fights when you don't. This is the word for you now. Not every battle is yours to fight in the noise of flesh, for some wars are only won in the silence of spirit. The inheritance that stirs in your bloodline is not secured by anxious striding, but by alignment with heaven's strategy. There is power in stillness. There is strength in quiet surrender. There is authority in waiting while the hosts of heaven move unseen. Do not be deceived into thinking that silence is weakness. No, beloved, silence is strategy. Heaven wars for you when you learn to rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Withdraw from the noise. The world clamors with endless voices, opinions, accusations, distractions, digital shouts. But in the swirl of noise, the whisper of God is often missed. Heaven calls you now to create a chamber of silence. Step away, if only for moments each day, to breathe, to center your spirit, to call for the anointing. Do not underestimate the power of small rituals of stillness. A quiet room, a candle lit, a whispered name of God upon your lips. In these sacred pauses, the shield of light begins to surround you. When you feel the heat of opposition, Do not argue with those who cannot see. When provocations rise in your family, do not answer with the same fire. When voices demand explanation, learn the holy discipline of stillness. Heaven does not need you to defend what it has already decreed. Instead, lift your eyes inward and see the shield of light encircling you. Visualize it, a radiant wall, shimmering with divine fire, impenetrable to every arrow of accusation. Breathe it in. Call the name of God aloud, not in panic, but in authority, and watch how quickly the storm begins to break. Anchoring prayers will carry you in this hour. Short, simple affirmations that do not require eloquence, only sincerity. I am covered. I am chosen. I am sealed. These declarations are swords sharper than the words of men. When you speak them, you are not trying to convince yourself. You are aligning your atmosphere with heaven's decree. Guard your physical boundaries as well. Not everyone has earned the right to speak into your atmosphere. Some relatives will drain. Some voices will distort. This is not the time to open your spirit to every influence. Protect your altar at home. Guard your rest. Set aside moments where your heart and home are consecrated, where the noise of the world cannot enter. Even fasting, even a short season of writing down impressions, even keeping a journal of the names and signs that appear. These simple acts become seals against intrusion. And remember this, you are not alone in this. Angels move when you are still. Intercessors rise in your favor even when you don't know their names. The Spirit intercedes with groans too deep for words. Your obedience and stillness is the signal that releases heaven's armies into motion. Do not confuse inactivity with powerlessness. Stillness is the doorway through which angels wage war on your behalf. Take comfort now. While you breathe in silence, heaven is roaring in your defense. While you whisper a single name, angels are overturning decrees. While you rest in obedience, the hosts of heaven are already dismantling the schemes aligned against your bloodline. Your stillness is your strategy, and your inheritance will not be stolen. Type "I am covered" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing Code 2020 is now building a shield around you. The time of silence has not been wasted. It has been your training ground. The stillness that shielded you has now prepared you to rise. Hear me clearly. You are no longer merely one who hides under the shadow. You are becoming one who stands in authority beneath the open heavens. This is the hour where fear loses its grip, where shame crumbles under your feet, and where identity shines forth like the morning star. You are rising, and the season of hiding ends. The enemy has long sought to convince you that you were weak, voiceless, disqualified by the wounds of your past or the failures of your family. But heaven's decree speaks otherwise. You are not who they thought you were. You are heir. You are steward. You are chosen vessel. The inheritance stirring in your bloodline is not a gift given by chance. It is a mantle placed with intention. And mantles do not rest on victims. They rest on heirs who dare to stand and claim what is already theirs. Picture it, the ashes of your family's broken history glowing faintly with embers. Once, these embers were signs of destruction, reminders of what was lost. But now, heaven breathes upon them, and the fire does not consume you. It crowns you. Embers become a crown of authority. What was once proof of ruin becomes the very symbol of victory. You were what others thought would destroy you, but now it shines as a testimony that you have endured, and therefore you have authority. This is where your agency awakens. No longer waiting only in silence, you are invited to take up tools of power. Speak decrees aloud. Words once spoken in doubt must now be spoken in faith. Stand before the altar of your home and declare, I receive my name. I reclaim my inheritance. I seal my bloodline in blessing. These decrees are not empty. They are hammers striking the foundations of old covenants. They are torches igniting the path forward. Every syllable spoken in faith reshapes the atmosphere of your lineage. Consider the rituals of empowerment heaven gives you now. Take a candle and light it as a declaration of the flame you carry. Open an old family Bible and let your eyes fall on a verse. It may be the scripture that heaven appoints as your bloodline's anchor. Write down your name or the name revealed and declare it as seal. These small, symbolic actions ripple with great spiritual consequence. Heaven does not despise them. Heaven amplifies them. And know this, the trials you endured have not diminished you, they have promoted you. Adversity is not your disqualification. It has been your curriculum. Every loss was a deposit. Every wound was a rank earned. Every delay was a preparation for this acceleration. You are stronger now, not weaker. You are wiser now, not blind. You are marked now, not forgot. You. Even now, small victories await you. A dream once silenced will stir again. A relationship you thought permanently fractured may begin to soften. A family pattern that once repeated like a curse may suddenly stop with you. Do not dismiss these as coincidences. They are signs that empowerment has begun to manifest. They are confirmations that your shift is real. Stand now. You have been prepared for this. Lift your head, square your shoulders. Let your voice rise. You are no longer hiding in shadows. You are walking in inheritance. The shift has come, and you are the living proof. Type I am rising in the comments if you received this message. Blessing code 2121 is now releasing authority into your spirit. Now comes the unveiling. The struggle, the silence, the shaking, all of it has been leading to this moment of revelation. Heaven is not stirring your bloodline without purpose. It is not awakening ancestral altars and reviving long-buried prayers without reason. The reason is this: a spiritual inheritance is being released, and its key is the revelation of the name. This is the hour where what was hidden becomes known, where what was sealed is unrolled, where what was muted is spoken aloud in the courts of heaven. Imagine it, a scroll sealed for generations, dusted with the silence of time, suddenly opening with a burst of radiant light. As the seal breaks, the name that has waited through the centuries is read aloud. Angels pause, their wings folded in reverence. Ancestors lean forward, their stories vindicated in a single word. The Spirit declares it so. The name is your unlocking. It is not only identity, it is destiny. It is not only a sound, it is a key. With the name comes alignment. With the name comes inheritance. With the name comes authority. But understand this mystery. Trials were the proving ground for revelation. The resistance you endured, the dreams that troubled you, the battles that pressed upon your spirit, they were not meaningless torment. They were the tests that validated your worthiness to carry what heaven is now entrusting. Without the weight of opposition, the revelation could not be entrusted, for the inheritance must rest on those proven in the fire. What you passed through has refined you, and now the name arrives as confirmation that heaven approves. Watch for the signs. Some will hear the name in a whisper during prayer, as though it is being read directly into their spirit. Others will see it in a dream, etched across the vision like fire in the night. Some may experience a sudden clarity, a word, a syllable, a memory rising so strongly it cannot be denied. And for others, it may come as a date, a number, a repeated phrase that will not leave until it is acknowledged. Do not dismiss these moments. Heaven personalizes the revelation, tailoring the sign to reach you. Even now, listen. Perhaps you feel the pull in your heart, the impression forming on your inner eye. That is the Spirit pressing the seal into your awareness. Receive it, write it down, guard it. The name is not only revelation, it is responsibility. Inheritance is never without weight. You are not being given blessing for yourself alone. You are being entrusted with the repair of your bloodline, the restoration of your family's honor, the stewardship of generational purpose. Say yes. Say it aloud if you can. Accept the revelation, however it comes. Pray it back to heaven. I accept my name. I accept my inheritance. I accept the mantle for my bloodline. When you do, you stand not only for yourself, but for those who came before you and those who will come after. Heaven knows your name, and now you must know it too. This is your unlocking. Type "I am revealed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2222 is now inscribed upon your spirit. Beloved, as revelation comes forth and the name begins to rise in your spirit, I invite you to understand this truth. The same voice that calls your name is calling you to help carry this fire to others. Every seed you sow into this mission, whether through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, becomes a river that carries the prophetic word into bloodlines still waiting for their inheritance. You are not funding a broadcast. You are fueling a harvest. The Lord says, "Those who sow in tears will reap with joy." Your giving is not ordinary. It is oil. It is fire. It is manna for souls hungry to hear heaven speak their name. I declare over every giver, your seed becomes a prophetic act, a key unlocking blessings in your own family. Do not delay, for the window of obedience is holy. The giving links are in the description below. Step into this moment with boldness, for heaven will multiply what you release. The revelation of the name is not the ending, it is the beginning. Once the seal has been broken and heaven has confirmed your identity, the next step is activation. Revelation without action withers into memory. But when revelation is sealed with response, it becomes destiny. This is the moment where you rise not just as a hearer of the word, but as a doer, a vessel who carries the inheritance and sets it into motion. Heaven has not revealed your name only for you to know it. Heaven has revealed it so you may live it. Declare it aloud. I receive my name. I receive my inheritance. I will steward it in faith. These are not mere words. They are binding decrees in the Spirit. When spoken with faith, they activate angelic alignment. They signal to the unseen that heaven's heir has taken their rightful place. Your name, once whispered in secret, now carries weight in the courts of heaven and resonance in the earth. Do not let the moment pass without sealing it. Begin with simple acts of covenant. Write the revealed name or impression on paper and guard it as a sacred trust. Record the moment in your journal as a testimony for future generations. Some are being called to write letters to their children or their children's children, declaring blessings by name and sealing the bloodline in prayer. Others are called to gather the family, speak the name aloud in faith, and pronounce the inheritance over the house. These are not empty gestures. They are acts of faith that ripple forward into eternity. Your activation will also require discipline. Heaven entrusts inheritance not to squanderers, but to stewards. Build daily practices of alignment, declarations spoken each morning, prayers of thanksgiving each night, disciplines of fasting or silence when prompted. These small rhythms anchor your bloodline in the flow of heaven. They ensure that what has been unlocked is not lost to neglect. Remember this: God's favor responds to faith-aligned obedience. Guard against misuse. The temptation to turn inheritance into self-indulgence will rise, but inheritance is not given for greed. It is entrusted for righteousness. The blessings you carry are not for you alone, but for the repair of your bloodline and the advancement of God's purpose. Every decision you make now carries weight, for it echoes into generations. Choose wisely, walk humbly, and let the Spirit guide you. Mark this season with prophetic steps. For 7 days, declare your name aloud. For 30 days, watch for signs of alignment, restored dreams, reconciled relationships, patterns broken. Create a legacy box, a place where names, scriptures, and tokens of inheritance are sealed for those who come after you. Every act of alignment builds momentum in the Spirit, amplifying the flow of blessing through your house. And know this: angels have been assigned to guard what has begun. You are not carrying this activation alone. As you move in obedience, heaven dispatches guardians, protectors of the promise. You will sense their presence in quiet strength, in unexplainable peace, in victories that arrive without effort. The Spirit will guide you to mentors and intercessors who can help you steward the weight. Do not fear the responsibility. Heaven has equipped you for the task. Now, lift your voice and declare your yes. The scroll has opened, the name has been revealed, and the inheritance has been placed in your hands. Heaven waits for your response, and the only answer is obedience. Say it now. Yes, Lord. I receive. I activate. I walk. Destiny is no longer a distant dream. Destiny is awake in you. Type "I am activated" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing or 2323 is now unlocking doors before you. Even now, while you hear these words, there is movement in the invisible. You may not see it with your natural eyes, but the courts of heaven are alive with negotiation. This is the silent exchange in the spirit realm, the place where what was stowed is written down, accounted for, and reassigned. While men sleep, heaven does not. While tears fall silently at night, heaven records each drop as evidence in your favor. The scribe of God sits at the table, ledger open, inscribing your family's name where it had once been erased. This is not imagination. It is reality, more real than the chair beneath you. The unseen governs the scene. Picture it. A great table stretched across eternity, upon which scrolls are unrolled. Angels stand like witnesses, their eyes fixed on the judge. On one side, accusations are read, lists of failures, patterns of brokenness, covenants of bondage tied to your bloodline. On the other side, advocates stand, the Spirit of God speaking on your behalf. The blood of Christ crying out louder than any curse. Even voices of your ancestors who prayed in faith, their petitions preserved in the archives of heaven, rise as testimony. The atmosphere is thick, the stakes eternal. And then the exchange begins. Scales are tipped. What was traded away in ignorance is now being weighed again in justice. What was stolen in darkness is now being brought into light. The scrolls are unrolled, not to shame you, but to vindicate you. Line by line, debts are being erased. Page by page, inheritances long delayed are being reassigned. You may not feel it yet, but even now the balance shifts in your favor. Heaven's law is higher than man's schemes. No curse, no vow, no deception can override the decree of the judge. This exchange is not loud, for heaven does not need spectacle. It is silent, sacred, deliberate. Where land was stolen, heaven records restoration. Where marriages were broken, heaven inscribes healing. Where gifts and talents were buried, heaven marks resurrection. Where prophetic mantles were intercepted, heaven reassigns them to you, the rightful heir. Do not be deceived by what you see in the natural. Heaven's paperwork is already processing your return. Receive this truth. Nothing truly lost is gone forever. Heaven does not misplace inheritance. Every delay, every theft, every disappointment has been catalogued, and now it is being processed for return. Even as you sit in quietness, the exchange is underway. Property may return in unexpected ways. Relationships may be healed suddenly. Favor may open doors that were locked for years. You will call it surprise, but heaven will call it justice fulfilled. Enter this exchange with faith. Close your eyes and imagine the ledger of heaven. See your family's name written clearly. See the line items of what was withheld. And now, see the judge stamping it restored. This is not fantasy. This is the prophetic reality of the Spirit. Believe it, and the manifestation will follow. Take courage. The silent exchange is already in motion. The angels are moving. The scribes are recording. The judge has spoken. What was withheld is on the move back to you. It will not tarry. It will not delay. Heaven has ruled, and the earth must respond. Type "I am restored" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2424 is now surrounding your household. The exchange in the spirit realm was not the end. It was the opening of a greater decree, divine justice. Hear this clearly. Heaven does not merely restore what was stolen. Heaven reverses what was intended for harm and multiplies it into harvests. This is the mystery of God's justice, that every injury becomes seed and every loss becomes the soil of abundance. What the enemy meant for evil, heaven turns for good. The ledger is not simply balanced, it is tipped in your favor. See it now. Time itself, which you thought was wasted, is being redeemed. Relationships, once fractured, are being restored with greatest strength. Resources once siphoned away are being returned multiplying. Reputations smeared are being cleared, not merely to their original state, but elevated with honor that could only come from God. This is divine reversal, the turning of the tide, the rewriting of the story, the moment when everything shifts. Understand this principle. The greater the theft, the greater the reversal. Heaven's justice does not settle for equal exchange. It demands overcompensation. If your family line lost decades, heaven can release acceleration, where what should have taken years will unfold in months. If your lineage was stripped of opportunities, heaven will open doors so wide that generations will walk through them. If your name was dragged in the dust, heaven will raise it so high that it shines like a city on a hill. This is not exaggeration. It is the pattern of divine justice. Look to the stories written in Scripture. Joseph was thrown into a pit, sold as a slave, falsely accused, and imprisoned. But when reversal came, he was not simply freed, he was enthroned. Job lost everything, yet the reversal doubled his possessions and restored his family. What was meant for humiliation became elevation. So too shall it be for you. The wounds of your bloodline will not be your shame, they will be your testimony. The very places of affliction will be the wells of abundance. But hear this warning. Reversal cannot be received with bitterness. Justice is not vengeance. If you harbor hatred, if you cling to offense, you may disqualify yourself from the fullness of what heaven desires to release. Lay down the weapon of resentment. Forgive where you must forgive. Release where you must release. This does not excuse the harm. It frees heaven to multiply the blessing without resistance. The blood of Christ cries louder than vengeance, and it cries for redemption. Now lift your head and prepare. Justice is already in motion. The scales have tipped, the verdict has been released, and the reversal has begun. You will see it in sudden opportunities, in reconciliations you thought impossible, in resources that flow when you least expect it. Give thanks as each sign appears, for thanksgiving is the currency that secures the flow. Do not wait until the fullness manifests. Begin to thank God now, and the reversal will multiply. Hear this declaration. Divine reversal is already in motion on your behalf. You will not leave this season empty-handed. You will carry multiplied blessing, honor, and restoration. Your name will shine, your inheritance will flow, and your bloodline will be sealed in justice. The God who sees has ruled in your favor, and no hand can overturn his decree. Type "I am reversed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing God 2525 is now releasing multiplied justice into your life. Beloved, the message has been spoken. The trumpet has sounded, and the inheritance of heaven has been announced over your bloodline. From the first cry of the angels to the revelation of the name, to the silent exchange in heaven's court, you have walked a path of fire and light. And now you stand at the threshold of fulfillment. The word has been confirmed. Your name is known. Your inheritance is released. Your destiny is activated. No more delay, no more denial, no more doubt. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. Let this blessing seal you now. By heaven's decree, my name is known. By heaven's decree, my bloodline receives its inheritance. By heaven's decree, I walk in restored dignity and unshakable purpose. Let these words leave your lips, for in speaking them you tie your spirit to the eternal witness of heaven's courts. Do not let the name slip into forgetfulness. Write it down. Guard it in prayer. Share it only with those who can intercede with faith. The name is not just a key. It is a mantle, a sacred trust. To carry it is to carry your family's healing, to bear the weight of promise, to live as a steward of heaven's blessing. And remember this, inheritance is not simply about possession. It is about responsibility. Walk with honor. Live with humility. Move with courage. Even now, I declare a covering over you. Angels are stationed at the borders of your life. The Spirit hovers over your household like fire over the altar. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and no accusation raised against your name shall stand. You are marked, you are anointed, you are chosen. Now rise. Walk into the fullness that has been prepared. The generations before you are rejoicing. The angels are shouting. The heavens are open. Your inheritance waits, and you will not miss it. Type "I am sealed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2626 is now anchoring your destiny. As this word seals in your spirit, I invite you into one final act of alignment. Just as your inheritance has been released, you now have the power to release inheritance for others through your giving. When you support this mission with super thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are not simply donating, you are prophesying. You are sowing seed into the soil of eternity, helping names be spoken, destinies be awakened, and bloodlines be restored. The Lord declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." Your gift is a prophetic seed, a covenant act, and I declare multiplication over every offering released in faith. Do not delay, for the harvest begins the moment you release the seed. The links are in the description below. Step into this river of blessing and let your giving echo heaven's decree. The inheritance belongs to God's people,